subscribers, so we're about 4 short to get to the 1,000. So I think
Okay.
we'll definitely break in the next day or two. All right, let's see what we got here. We're at 996 subscribers. We're about 4 short. All right, let's see. Hey, everybody, welcome. This is Easy Homes University. I'm here with Dan Layton, and today is Wednesday, July 15th. Super excited to have you guys on here. Here in Michigan, it's I don't know, what would you say, Dan, about 80-degree day?
Yeah, it's in the low 80s and medium humidity.
Yeah, it's we've had a streak of a hot spell over the past couple weeks, which has gotten a lot of people outside of their house. People are, being a little more active. A lot of landscaping opportunities to be had. If you don't want to venture too much into the world, there's a lot of yard work that you just got to hit it at the right time, like 9 in the morning and like 9:30 at night.
Yeah, exactly. Walk the dog early and late, as my wife does.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yep. Well, it's great to talk to you. You've had a busy week. You want to like fill in some of our subscribers what you've been up to?
Sure. So I've been on a big mobile home tour of multiple states. So I created a relationship with a major corporation, went and looked at some homes that they wanted me to look at. So I went down to Clarksville, Tennessee, which is about 9 hours south.
Mm.
I headed out Sunday, went down there, stayed the night, went and looked at actually 3 homes that they had, 2 of which I'm going to purchase, and then met the manager, got in a car, drove to central Illinois, went to 2 different parks, looked at a couple of FEMA homes that I had looked at before online from photos, but now I want to put my eyeball and my nose on and make sure what I was buying. And I'm glad I did, because there are some issues now that I'm going to have to request a lower price. And then I got in the car, drove to Knoxville, Iowa, and that's about another 5-6 hours away from there. And there's a big double wide there with a 40-pound snow load that I purchased for $1,500. So, and I met with a contractor who's going to do some repairs on it. So, and then I came home. So it was a 5-home swing tour. Looks like all 5 will hopefully be all in the boat, and I think it's going to be exciting, and it will be a worthwhile trip.
Wow, boy! Now that's not usual. You're not usually covering that many states in a week, or
No,
a
it's
few
very
weeks.
unusual, but
Yeah.
opportunity knocked. The relationship was there. These homes are empty, and basically, as Lonnie Scruggs once taught Dan and I, you don't go stealing in slow motion. So I made the decision, like as painful as it was, get in the car and drive. I'm not confident yet of during COVID to get in a plane yet. So I just said the heck with it. I got brand new Michelins on my Tahoe. Gas up, gas is cheap. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. That's right. So, and you brought up a good, unique situation there. I don't think we've ever talked about, which is FEMA opportunities. And what are I guess if you could give me a breakdown of like, what is that opportunity? What does that look like? FEMA, Federal Emergency, I forget what it stands for.
Yeah, and I can't remember the acronym either. But it's basically a home built to a different standard than HUD. Basically, it's most of them, the one I'm looking at are 3-bed, 1-bath. They're vinyl sided, shingle roof, and they're all handicap accessible. So that means all the doorways are 36 inches. To go under a cupboard and under a sink has access for a handicap person's knees to get underneath in a wheelchair. They're typically always electric. So electric everything, furnace, AC, appliances. They're usually 2x4 construction. It's a very basic home, but a home nonetheless. And
Sure.
There's something that you would use a lot of times if you if you wanted to go to, let's say, an emergency flood, state like Louisiana or places that got flooded, these FEMA houses, what you hear, are being
Yeah.
pulled in,
Got
and
it.
they're readily accessible. They're usually a little shorter. Like the ones I got, I think were 14 by 60,
Hmm.
3 bed, 1 bath. But a lot of parks have short sites, so
Sure.
so I don't pay a lot for them.
Hmm.
But at the end of the day, there's always somebody that's willing to buy them. It could be a
Sure.
park owner, it could be someone that wants to put grandma on property or buy them for immigrant workers to work at a farm. I mean,
Sure.
there's dozens and dozens of opportunities, but you got to buy them right because
Yeah.
they're not at the same caliber as typical HUD homes. So
Yeah. Now, is there any unique approach to finding those type of homes that you use, or do they just come in as natural leads, or is there?
well,
Do you?
we get them just through our natural SEO leads. These happen to be in parks, so some parks actually have them. They bought them.
Got you.
They
Okay.
want to get rid of them
Yeah.
a lot of times because it's a little bit lesser home. Like I said, they're 2 by 4. Um, they're they're just not as robust. All right,
Sure.
the
Yeah.
roof pitches are the same, but the overhang is negligible. They just almost end it right at the side of the home.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And to be honest with you, they're if they want to upgrade the park, you would probably go for the older homes first that were vacant that you could
Sure.
scrap, and then the next ones would probably be these to get rid of, and then
Got
upgrade
it.
to an actual HUD home, something a little bit more modern, and
Yeah.
so that there's really no secret of how to get them, but
Yeah. Yeah. Just depends on who owns them, or what property they were dropped off at, or what
yeah,
park, or
exactly.
yeah, but they're really intended to be a short-term solution, typically where they're originally dropped off, and then if somebody can have a different application for them, they're perfect use. They're lower price points a lot of the time, and typically I'm going to assume they're easy to access. I mean, even if they're not in a park.
They are, and they're a little cheaper too. So a lot of these parks who wanted to fill their sites, you know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago,
Sure.
were buying these because
Yeah.
there was a surplus of them.
Yeah.
Manufacturers had them, and they built them probably because of you know a natural
Katrina, right?
disaster, and they had a
Yeah.
stock of them, or they wanted to fill some order time, and they call
Yeah.
up owners and say, "Hey, I've got a HUD home or a FEMA home. Do you want to buy some? Here's the price," and they'll give them a price, and the guy goes, "You know what?
Bring it in.
I'm going to buy them because I can buy them so cheap and I can fill a lot. And if I don't have a lot filled with a home, I can't get a renter. And if I can't get a renter, I can't make money." So it's just
Yeah.
that's kind of how a lot of them do it.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So, okay, well, that's good. So, how would you say, was it a successful trip? Was it worth the drive?
Oh, that was a riot. I had a
Yeah.
ball. Um, yeah, two of those, three of those homes, I've already agreed on prices. I was just really coming to validate them. Um,
Wow.
Two of them, I'm going to lower my price. I had them at 2 grand. I want to get them for at least 1,000 because one of the FEMA homes had no um, water heater in it. It was gone, and that's kind of
Mm,
a big deal.
yeah,
That's kind of
sure
going to
is.
buy.
Yeah.
That's like going to buy a car and all of a sudden finding out that it
The air
doesn't have
conditioner doesn't work.
yeah,
Yeah.
or the
Yeah.
engine's gone, or it
Right.
doesn't have any
Right.
tires or whatever. So
Right. Right. It's kind of important. Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
important, and
Sure.
they'll understand because
Yeah.
it'll take $1,000 to get that replaced.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
Well, that's great. Well, in terms of, we were talking before we started this, the age brackets that Easy Homes typically is within. And so I think that's a good thing that we can bring up today, because you had a unique home that you purchased that is outside of the normal bracket. So let's, I guess, just briefly talk about what is the typical age bracket that you like to stay in comfortably.
I like to stay in basically 1990 and up.
Okay.
Um, the older, the newer the home, the better for us. So
Sure.
1990 would typically be the draw, the line in
Yeah.
the sand.
Yeah.
Occasionally, we'll take a look at an 88 or 89. but especially if it's a 3-bed, 2-bath. Um,
Yeah.
but to be honest with you, we know a lot of times we just shun away from them. So, um, but that's the model we're in. There's a lot of really good, clean, older homes out there, and they're readily available. It just there's something that Easy Homes really hasn't been interested in because a lot of our buyers just aren't willing to buy an
Sure.
older home because it costs the same to move an old home as it does a newer home.
Yep.
And if they're trying to upgrade their park,
Yeah.
it
Don't
just
go.
doesn't make sense. So we that's what we kind of stay within is that
Sure.
late 80s or 1990 and newer.
Yeah. So, as an example, there was one this over the week that you had purchased that was, did you say 84?
84, yeah, it was an
Okay.
84 double wide. And it's funny because the guy called me and a lot of things had to come into play for me even listen to the call. Like
Yeah.
he wanted to sell it, and I asked him, "Is this a vinyl sided shingle roofed home?" Yes. Okay, check the box. Good.
Yep.
What kind of condition is it in? It's in really good shape. Okay, check that box.
Yeah.
Where's it at? Well, it's just around the corner from me, about 20 minutes. I'm like, all right, check that box. That's
Right.
easy. And
Yep.
I said, what's the year? And he didn't remember. He didn't know. He didn't have the title.
Sure.
And the fact that I had checked those 3 boxes, and the fact it was, like I said, around the corner, I just said, you know what? Give me the address. I'll just come over and take a look. All right.
Yeah.
And I did. And what I discovered was this home here. I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah.
This was the home that I showed up to. And, right off the bat, you really can't tell that this home was a 1984. And when I walked
Hmm.
up to it, I had no clue it was an 84
It
because,
it looks great.
yeah,
Yeah.
vinyl, you can see it's vinyl sided, shingle
Yeah.
roof. You can tell already by the color of those windows, those are replacement windows because in 1984,
Yeah.
they would have been metal. And
Yeah.
so I walked in, and lo and behold, I saw this one, and I took pictures all around the home. It's got a nice womanized deck on it.
Hmm.
Um, it had a double decker shed, and these are just me walking around the home taking pictures. There's the back. There's the side of the home. Had a little bit of moss or mold growing on this, but no big deal.
Sure.
And then, I took some roof pictures. The roof's got, the shingles aren't curling up. There was no leaks. Um,
Hmm.
and then I walked in and saw this. And I'm like, holy mackerel. I bought 1,600 mobile homes in our career, and I have never seen an
Wow.
84 this clean. And when he told me it was an 84, I had to pause and I had to look around like, was there anybody listening to this? Like, this is crazy. The Berber
Yeah, that
carpet
is, wow.
looked
I
great.
mean, it looks,
Fireplace. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it looks brand new inside here. It just looks untouched.
Yeah. That's a new door. That did not
Yeah.
come with the house, I promise you.
Right.
The vinyl windows are all new, which probably in that house probably cost 3 to 4 grand.
Right. You said the
Kitchen,
fireplace worked?
fireplace worked. It was gas.
Yeah.
He had refurbished all this.
Wow.
It was empty.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
I mean, that looks great. I mean, that kitchen looks, uh, I mean, move in ready.
yeah, it really is. And stainless steel sink, all the appliances. I negotiated this, and here it is, 1984. It was a Redmond right here. You
Hmm.
can see the birth
Yep.
date, which was just a month ago.
Yeah.
Um, thank goodness they didn't paint over it. It's got an original furnace, but he had some work done to it. He did take the washer and dryer because I negotiated that. He had a newer unit, and I just negotiated out because
Yeah.
sometimes, I offered him 2 grand. He bought it for 15,000. He wanted at least 7,500, and I just
Hmm.
couldn't pay that. And I
Right.
said, I'll offer you two. And he was
Yeah.
kind of stunned by that. I was kind of stunned to offer it, to be honest with you. I said, holy
Yeah.
crap, that's a
Yeah.
low offer, but you ought to be
Yeah.
embarrassed by your offer.
Right. Right. And he's in a park, so if he doesn't sell it, he has to pay lot rent, right?
Yeah, and he already bought a home, closed on it. He bought a cute little house on a lake nearby, and so he's paying $550 lot rent just to
Mm.
hold this thing there. And so it was getting heavier. I bumped my price up to five because I made the decision. I've never seen a home this clean in
Yeah.
this age, this close to my house. So
Yeah.
I said, I'll give you five. And he thought about it. And finally he said, yeah, come on, let's meet, let's do it. Um,
Yeah.
so I bought it for five, and um, I had to do nothing to it. No air fresheners, nothing.
Yeah.
I'll show you the master shower here in a second. Look at this. That's a built-in shower.
Wow.
So I put it up for 10.5, put it on Facebook, and I left for my 3-state tour. And my phone has not stopped dinging. I think I got 50 to 60 hits from Facebook
Uh,
Marketplace, um, and I'm selling it for 10.5. I finally
yeah.
I realized I underpriced it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you
Yeah.
know what? I don't want. There's an old saying that Lonnie Scruggs also said: "Pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered."
Yeah.
So, um,
Yep.
everybody can say, "Oh, you should have. I could have." Listen, if you're
Yep.
making $5,500 in a week on a home,
Right.
don't cry to me. I'm not
Right.
interested in listening.
Right. With a
So
couple hours invested,
I know, right? So
Yep. Yep.
the park isn't going to skip a beat on lot rent.
No.
Um, and the funny part,
You made $2,500 an hour.
yeah, exactly, yeah,
Yeah. 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 That's okay. That's enough, you know.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the funny thing about this, Gary, is the guy that's buying this is a guy who I sold a home to probably 10 years ago. No, that's not true. About 5 years ago. And his house burnt down, his mobile home. And
Mm,
he's in Clarkston. And
mm,
I'm looking for another home to replace his, but he saw my ad on, and he had cash. And he says, I
mm.
want to buy it from you, Dan. All I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it. I'm going to put a couple grand in. I'm going to flip it, make some money myself.
Boy.
So he put his app in along with another couple who want to pay full price. So now I got two people fighting to get approval to buy the
Yeah.
home for full asking price
Oh, wow.
on an
Wow.
84 home that I would have never
Wow.
looked at. But
Wow.
now, to all of our watchers and listeners, you just don't know what you don't know until you sometimes discover it. And this
Sure.
is one of those cases.
And clearly, like, the rules are intended to be broken when the situational differences present themselves. So if you see, if you know how to get leads and you see a 1984 run across your desk, uh, this will make you think twice before you just pass it by too quick.
Yeah. And
Again, like, this is rare. This home is not going to be easily found in this kind of condition, but they're out there.
they are. And you might actually find the 80, 81, 82 that,
Mm.
but yeah, the big thing is I had to look at my exit strategy. And that's what you always got to do on these homes. So my exit strategy was one of three things. Number one, I could flip it right where it was at for cash.
Mhm.
Number
Mhm.
two, I could lease option, well, with a lease option purchase, I could sell it and take payments.
Mhm.
Okay. And number three would be I could blast it out to my network of buyers, and then they could buy it and it could get removed. And actually, four, I could offer it to the park and they could buy it back. So I had all those options. I
Yeah.
looked at the park option. Will they buy it back? I wasn't confident 100%
Sure.
if that would be the case. Um, so I kind of put that on pause. I could send it out to my buyers, and I think I would have sold it. But I thought, you know what? It's such a beautiful home, beautiful site locally to me. Let me just throw it out to the fish and see what happens. And
Mhm.
evidently, I had the right bait or lure on, because holy mackerel! If I showed you my people, you'd be just going, "There's no way."
Wow.
I mean,
That's
uh,
amazing.
it
I
really
mean,
is.
it just, yeah, and it's funny because it does help you gauge the price point, like, at, what should I have put
These
this up
these
for?
right here are people that I haven't
Yeah,
even spoke to yet
yeah.
on my phone that
Uh,
are hitting me, all those. I haven't even
wow,
I haven't even talked to them. I've been on the
wow,
road. I probably average 20 a day. So
wow.
so I just want to share with with you and the viewers that,
Sure.
if you get a really good clean home, um, and you can buy it right, and it's in a good,
Mhm,
a good region, you know, I'd say go look at it and see, because look at your
mhm,
strategy to get out. You can
mhm,
always flip it there. You can do a lease with option to purchase.
mhm.
Um, but if it's a really older home, like in the 70s or whatever, the park's not going to buy it back. That's out of the question. It's not going
Yeah,
to happen. I wouldn't bet.
yeah,
I wouldn't bet a buck on it. And you're
yeah.
not going to flash it out to your buyers for them to remove it. So it really limits you to two things: flip it or do a lease with purchase.
Mhm,
And it takes some guts to do that. But at the end of the day, if it's a clean home,
mhm,
it's a nice park. The park is well run. It's been well
mhm.
occupied. There's new homes coming in.
Yeah.
You can do that because affordable housing never goes out of style.
Mhm,
If you
mhm,
buy a home like that for, you know, let's say it's a single wide, you buy it for 2 grand, you could
mhm,
take 2 grand down and a $199 payment for 48
mhm,
months, and you break even when you sell it, and then you
mhm.
just run for 48 months making $200 a month.
Boy, that's a great that, and you don't have to touch it. It's
No,
already to be moved in, and you're not out anything. At that point, you're operating on sheer profit.
it is. So
Yeah.
that there's
Yeah.
there's there's my unique story.
Hey, that's a great story. So it's just a good reminder. I mean, you guys have harped really well, like looking for homes in the right market. Specifically, age is one of those things that you guys look to qualify the leads. And this is just a clear example that you have to be creative in your approach to buying and selling, because
Yep.
sometimes you're gonna have those gold nuggets that are sitting right under your nose that they don't fit the mold, but they've still got a lot of life left in them. They're not always going to be there, but when you can find them, you need to run run with them.
Yeah,
So
you got it.
yeah,
You got it. It's
yeah,
absolutely true.
yeah. Well, that's great. Today, that's really what we wanted to talk to you guys about that are watching today. Our YouTube live is just looking for those unique opportunities, looking for homes that don't fit the normal mold, and even those of you that are into the purchasing with lease options that are out there, and you're thinking, how do I do wholesale? And it seems scary. That's the other side of the creative mold that you should be venturing into, because there's a lot of opportunity to make money very quickly with no overhead, and you can have a very quick exit strategy that's not going to take 48 months or anything close to that.
Right.
So there's a lot of creative opportunity, and it's always good to push ourselves outside of what we're accustomed to. And boy, that's some great stories. So I appreciate your time, Dan, and appreciate you guys all watching us. And as always, we'll see you next week for Easy Homes University.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Take care.